What is up, everybody? It's your boy Brian from American Auto, coming at you with another video on the OBS Chevy this week. Yeah, got some big things going on. Got some stuff moving, like literally the cranking assembly is moving. Not on its own yet, but very close. Let me show you where we're at. So, we had the headers halfway bolted on, had the manifold sitting on there with the carburetor on it. Now, we had to back up a little bit because I didn't put the gaskets in or nothing like that. I was doing what you're supposed to do. I was test fitting, okay? So that means you set your manifold on and make sure everybody's flat and in their places, okay? Okay. Now, don't you dare judge me. I know I'm talking to you right there, okay? I used the rubber on the china walls. Hate me or whatever. But I did put the gray RTV on both sides of it. And I used the intake manifold gaskets that they sent. And a RTV both sides of that. So, what we've got here is a form of an air gap intake. It's kind of crude, but it's going to work perfect, especially when I get done with it, because I've got plans. I mean, all that air is going to get in there and bump around a little rough, but you know what? Something I have learned, these manifolds are amazing. Plus, it goes with all this, okay? Now, we didn't have to pull this thing back off the stand again because we had to get the rear main seal off of it, and then I had to put the rear main seal back in it. Okay, there's that. Now, outside of that, she's sitting on there kind of crooked, ain't she? See if we can straighten her up a little bit. Okay, we got it. It's straight. Jigs. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and get the timing cover on here and the oil pan on here. Let me show you what we're doing with that, because the color of this truck, when I'm going to be done with it, is going to be a Cadillac candy apple color. Okay? That's what it is right there. There's the timing cover. There's that. And that. And that. Anyway. And guys, that's not the great, that wasn't gun painted or nothing like that. It was legitimately spray paint. That can right there. So, again, goes back to, as long as you prep it, it'll turn out good. All right, so now that we've got everything bolted back on, painted pan, painted timing cover and all that, now it's time to go ahead and put our spark plugs in. Now, what we went with for this was the V-Power NGKs, and they are, and now keep in mind, guys, I'm not real sure. I was trying to look it up what these heads called for, but what we've come up with is the BKR5E. See if you can see that, for the Flowtech 180cc's, okay? So we're going to go ahead and throw these in there. The reason I was having a difficult time figuring it out is because the original heads had a tapered seat. These do not. So, let's put these in and see where we go from here. All right, everybody, we're back. It's been about a week since I started working on this. So, I've got to get the other shop lights turned on to give me some better viewage. But we're getting so very close to firing this engine up and breaking it in. Problem is I don't have a run stand. What I do have is a stack of angle iron and some other metals there, and then I've got sheet metal and all that. And if you look at this engine stand here, the front of that is hollow, okay? Now, let's see if anybody can pick up what I'm putting down here. Oh! Kind of see where I'm going there? But if I bring this out here and up, guess what? We have a cooling system. So, overlook my mess, guys. So, if I take that angle iron make it where it slides into there, because that's hollow all the way back, and bring it out a little bit and up. And then I put the fan on the front of the radiator to blow the cold air through. It ought to keep it cool enough that I can keep this engine cool. All right, guys, so I got the whole thing figured out. See the radiator laying there on the ground? Well, I made that. And I'm going to show you how that turns that into a run stand. Minus the transmission, of course. But that part's okay. You can fire it up on that. I'll show you here in just a second. Maybe you can kind of see where I'm going at with it. Maybe. Maybe not. All right. Now, does it make sense now? Yep. Now, you got the radiator sitting directly in front of the engine, and it ain't going nowhere. By the time you put your bottom hose on and your top hose on, it'll be connected to the engine. Also, the fun part is you can adjust your forward and aft by about 8 inches down there. It just simply slides in, slides out, stows away. That is how you make a run stand out of an engine stand. And guys, literally I did every single bit of this with my welder and bed rails. There's the remainder of the bed rails right there. All you have to do is go to any of your like Goodwills or something like that, or Salvation Army or anything like that. My wife and I go shopping there anyway. So while you're there, keep your eye out. Go to a flea market. People will be selling cheap bed rails like $5 a set, $3 a set. If you go try and buy angle iron from Harbor Freight, or not Harbor Freight, but Tractor Supply or one of your metal supply stores, it's going to be outrageous, okay? That's for starters. Secondly, this stuff is already hardened. It is made to hold fat people. It's made to be under your bed to hold you up, so when you pounding, it ain't falling. So, anyway, guys, I am a very firm believer in using the bed rails, and between my mother keeping every set of bed rails she ever found, we had a bunch around here, and I've made a bunch of stuff out of them. A bunch of stuff. So, anyway, that being said, there you have it. Just a slide in, slide out. We'll hook the hoses up, fill it up with water, and it's good to go, ready to be run. So, next step, let's get the rest of the stuff done. All right, guys, we've been at it. Got the oil primer tool out. I'll show you that in just a second. Let me clean this can. So, the oil we used was this Lucas engine break-in oil with the high zinc, the SAE 30, non-detergent. Okay, that's very important. Very, very important. You use the non-detergent type. Okay. Let me show you where we're at on the. So you'll see we've got the valve covers off, got the funnel setting in the distributor hole. Matter of fact, it can come out now. It's been dripping long enough. Throw it down here in this box. Now we're going to hook our gauge up right here, which is this guy here. I already put the bushing in it to where this will just screw right. That'll just screw right in. Yeah, just like that. Let me put you on the tripod. Now, back where I was, this will just screw right into here. And on these OBS Chevys, when you're dealing with a stock configuration on the block, you got to watch it, because you got this bell over here on this side. That's a 1-wire oil pressure gauge. And then you've got this one right here, which is your oil sending unit that controls the light. Now, when I'm done with this one over here is going to be blocked off because we don't need it anymore. Okay? So, I don't see any reason to keep that. All right, now let's grab our gauge. And this guy here, oil pressure gauge. Stick that right here. All right. Let's check, see where our oil level is. It's nothing fancy, guys. But you see how that spins? Now, what you're looking for here is down inside here, you can see. Let me show you. Now, this isn't for everybody. This is just for the guys that don't know. Down inside here, let's see. Can you see that flat-headed thing way down there? That's what we're attaching to, okay? Now, the end of this goes in there, okay? Now that we know that the end of that should be very close. That's it. Oh boy. Did y'all hear that? We're pumping at 55, 60. All right, let's rotate a little bit. You know what? Hang on. I'm gonna pop these spark plugs out real quick. So we went ahead and got the spark plugs out. Now what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna rotate this engine just a little bit. And then run the oil pump again. And just make sure there's some movement going on in there. Nothing too hard, nothing too extravagant, you know, none of that. Turn it some more. I'm not getting any oil out of this front one up here. Or this one. All the rest of them are good. All right. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now then, we're going to let the drill set and cool off. We're going to let the device dry off. Now, if my valve covers was ready, now would be the time I'd put them on, but they're not ready yet. I still got some painting to do on them. So, we're going to take this apart. We're going to put that sensor back in right here, and then we're going to move on to getting the rest of the stuff together, such as the water pump on and the water pump pulley, the water neck, thermostat. All right, so at this point, got the distributor set in. Got it. I like to set my engines about 10 degrees before top dead center. We went ahead and put all the spark plugs back in. So I'm gonna run around, throw the wires on real quick, and get her about ready. For those of you who don't know, on a small block Chevrolet, it's gonna be 1357-2468, okay? And your firing order on this is going to be 18436-572, okay? So that's that. Now, I've already had these plug wires on here one time, so they should just go right back into place. So, yes, I'm doing some painting. Made that water pump look all better. Water pump housing looks a lot better. And we got that guy down there about to go on. I even painted the dipstick tube. Got it all bolted in nice and neat. It's all working together, guys. This thing's about to be coming to life as soon as I get all the stuff on here. But anyway, so I'm gonna put you on a tripod and we're gonna get this pulley down here put on. I had to go get new bolts for it. I'll explain that in a second. So I had to go get new bolts for this pulley down here. You could theoretically slap that bolt in there and let it hold it, but I don't trust that, one. And two, you could force a random bolt in here, but we're not going to do that either because we're better than that. Now, what I will tell you is these are not just, they're standard thread, yes, okay? This is one of them engines where half of it's standard, half of it's metric. Well, these bolts that go in here, oddly enough, are a 3/8 on 24, okay? For those of you who don't know, 3/8 is that diameter there, and 24 is the number of threads in an inch, okay? So when you find 3/8 by, say, it'll be 3/8 by 18, that'll be 18 threads in an inch. 3/8 by 24 is 24 threads in an inch, and the outside diameter. And keep that in mind, that's your standard on all your bolts. Now, I've showed y'all this toolkit before, my thread repair kit, and what's great about it is this kit here will tell you what you have. And that's how I figured out that these were 3/8 by 24, not 3/8 by 18. One, none of my 3/8 bolts would fit in it, for starters. Secondly, when I found the right size, 3/8 National Fine Thread tap to fit in it, not tap, but rebuild, rethreader. There's two of them in here that are the same one, or what you would think is the same one. But what it is this is a 3/8 by 24, and I've got the 18. So, I also got 3 of the 3/8 in the coarse thread, which I don't know why. But anyway, so we went and got new bolts. And we're going to get this bad boy put on here and make it look good. Ooh, don't chime it. I don't know why, but I love this little tool. Maybe it's because it takes us back to our forefathers or something. But I see people using them still. Matter of fact, Steve Dulcich from Motor Trend, he still uses them. Steve Brule, I think I've seen David Freiberger using it in the past. Of course, that's hard to believe because David Freiberger, that man's always in such a hurry with so much crap going on in his life. He ain't got time to mess with slow-moving stuff like this. All right, now we'll put our center bolt back in. Hold that thought. there's that. All right, everybody, we're back. It's another day. I've been doing a little bit of work on this whole run stand deal here, and some things have come to mind, and I'll show you. So it dawned on me, when I fire this engine up, it's going to want to torque, probably this way. We don't want an engine running like that. So, I've got to make it stay upright like that. Now, I have a couple options. Did you know on a small block Chevy, they install bolt holes for an engine plate? Did you know that? Right here. And right here. Yeah. You could bolt an engine plate right there if you wanted to. Now, I don't know if that's really what that's for, if it just goes with the horseshoe over there. But that's not what I'm going to do. I might, because it does have a whole lot of nose lean on it. But I'm thinking about getting a bar, putting it in right here, and bringing it down to the corner down there on each side, just to stabilize the front a little bit better. And also, we have to finish in our wiring. Now, guys, I've got the plate up here mounted in, oil pressure, starter button. I've got a rocker switch for power on to the distributor. And I've got to get my coolant gauge, okay? Now, outside of that, I still have to finish all this up, get this wiring all buttoned up. I've got positive and negative right here because, guys, after this engine comes off, all this stuff is staying because I plan on building more engines, okay? So, I have to make it to where it's acceptable for all. Just like from the starter button, it's going to go to the battery, but you see I got a gator clip for it to hook onto the start signal right there. That's all you need, okay? We got it grounded to the block, so that way when I put the battery down here, which I'm also putting a plate down here in the corner to hold a battery. Keep in mind, all this exhaust is going to come out at an angle. It's not going to go straight down and hit the battery. I already thought about that. But we still have to mount the fuel pump. Now, I think I'm going to mount the fuel pump actually on the radiator rail, just for a shorter distance to the carb. And I can wire it back here to the battery as well. That's part of the rocker switch. But also, I have to go down to the other building and see if I can find that electronic fan, or the electric fan I've got down there. I cannot remember what I did with it because I never really planned on using it. But now I kind of need it. So, and I've got to take care of this deal, because I don't want to have to go through putting the whole horseshoe on, putting the alternator on, and all that stuff when I don't need to. So I've got to figure out the whole water pump deal, which means I need to get that other motor I've got, because that one there ain't going to last. It's really messed up. So we got some things to work out, so let's get at it. All right, people. So I have been going at this, trying to make this water pump turn electronically until I'm blue in the face. I'm tired of messing with it. I've got my other motor, but it's quite a bit longer, and I don't think the belt's going to match up right. So I just said, screw it. At this point, it's not that big a deal to throw the clamshell on there, or the horseshoe, whatever you want to call the daggone thing. Throw that on there and throw the stuff on there to make it work. So that's what we're going to do. Power steering pump still there and all that. We are going to loop the power steering pump to itself and allow the fluid just to run through it. But before we can do any of that, you see how greasy it is? It's time for the super clean. So I'm going to soak this whole joker down. And guys, if you haven't already went and got some super clean, what are you waiting on? This stuff is amazing. Now, this bottle is the foaming bottle, and you know, you can get the gallon jug and refill, which is what I would recommend. because buying it by the bottle like this, it does tend to get a little pricey. Ask me how I know. I let a sponsorship lap once and didn't do my part. But luckily, Super Clean is a great company to work with, and they reached right back out to me. Now, as I said, you can get the regular bottle or the foaming bottle. The foaming bottle obviously does that, and to me it works better. Just my opinion. I know everybody's got one. We need to go get some silicone caps to put on there, which I have over here. A whole pack of them. But the Super Clean, you can see it doing its job. It's working. All right, I had to go with plan B and just get a hose and loop the two together, just as I said to start with. But anyway, we're gonna spray this again and let that stuff work. You know what? I'm an idiot. I forgot one of the most important things I need for today. 3/8 fuel hose. So we're gonna run to O'Reilly's and get that real quick. Maybe they have some that ain't $300 a foot. But once we get the fuel hose, we're gonna get back and we're going to adjust the fuel pump right there and get it down to around 7 PSI. And once we get that done, then we can get moving closer to starting it. So hang tight, guys. I'll bring you back in just a minute when I get back from O'Reilly's. All right, guys. So I must be stupid or something, which I already know I am, but I'm lost. So I went ahead and put the whole clamshell back on the engine, threw the compressor on there, threw the alternator on there, water pump, power steering pump, all that stuff is on there. So that way I don't have to try and fight with a makeshift water pump, hoping it spins the right way and all that crap. Now, by doing that, it allows me to be able to put the original serpentine belt back on the engine, and that way I'll know the water pump's turning and turning the right way. I put everything back on that came off of it. And, you know, I don't have all the little, you know, limiters here and there, the bars. That'll be later. But just for cranking up purposes, I should be able to just do this. Problem is, okay, now that is a belt that I had hanging up. That one's too big. And I've tried, there's 3 different ways you can put this belt on here, and it still keeps the water pump turning the right way. I've tried all 3 of them. That belt's entirely too big. What's crazy is the belt that come off of there is entirely too small. Cannot. I can get it to fit all the pulleys, but it is so banjo tight that the tensioner right here, if I take it off, I can roll it onto the other pulleys and make it just barely fit on there that way. Now what's crazy is I went back and watched an old video from where I took this engine out to make sure I was even routing it the right way. And I was. And it just don't, I don't know. I've never seen a belt shrink that much. So, I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I got to go get dog food and I'm done for tonight. It's Sunday. I shouldn't have even been working today. But the wife had the good idea of just saying, forget it for tonight. I'll get back on it tomorrow. So, I'll see you guys in a minute. But I did want to show you before I go. I put them legs on, and those are not welded. Not to the stand, but they're on there so that way the engine is solid, right? To the puller. And then I got a battery box right there that I made. And of course, here's the rest of it up here so I can control everything. I've got to put my other switch in, tack, and all that stuff. It should be here tomorrow. So, yeah, we getting there. All right, everybody. We back. It's the next morning. Got this thing all coming together. See what we got going on there. Now, before I can fire this thing up, we got one more thing to do. We've got to finish up a little bit of wiring, finish up getting that fuel line on. We've got the battery tray on down there. We did end up putting them legs on the front of the engine just for stability, because I don't know how hard this thing's going to rock, and I really don't trust it. But this is turned sideways so I can finish hooking it up. But we've got a start button, coil and power, RPM gauge. That's actually a pretty cool little RPM gauge. But I'll show it to you as we get closer. But guys, we are so close to firing this thing up. I just want to make sure I have no kind of wires around that flywheel or anything like that. I've ran the most of this down through that tube there to keep it away. And of course, a little bit more tidying up. We'll hang this back up here for now. But yeah, tell me what you think about my homemade run stand, guys. We did put a cooling fan on the front of the radiator just to be able to pull some cool air through it. That thing moves some air. The problem is it moves it this way. So although that's not going inside the vehicle, if I was going to put it inside the vehicle, we'd put it on the other side. But it works awesome. So yeah, moving on from there. Got to hook the power wire up for that. Power wire up for the fuel pump here. And we're going to run the fuel pump up and over right here just to keep everything out of the way. Yeah. And then we'll be able to fire this beast off. So, but first, I've got to go get a belt. So, all right, guys. We are to the point of filling the radiator and the block up with water. Make sure we don't have no leaks. We've got the battery hooked up. We've got power to the tach. We've got power to the ignition, to the starter. It will spin over. And once I hook that little red wire there up, that will turn on the fan and the fuel pump. Now, that being said, now let's just get this filled up and go from there. I need to move this stuff off the top of the engine. I don't want nothing vibrating around up here, making noises, causing any kind of strangeness, and we'll see how this goes. Keep in mind, guys, this is only water. Although I did get it out the faucet, so it's already hot water. Try and help add a little bit of temperature to this thing. Dang. How many gallons of water does it take to get inside of an engine and get it full? Nobody knows. About my setup, guys, and how it looks. In the meantime, I'm gonna get all this mess cleaned up, slide this thing over to the side, and straighten everything up so I can get on to the next part here. We still gotta put a manual fuel pump on it and quite a bit more stuff, but as soon as Mother Nature will quit being a twat, we'll get back to doing what we need to do elsewise. But them headers, guys, them things bringing some shine to them, looking good, and this thing sounds mean as can be. So I'm just excited to be able to let you guys hear it. But like I say, I got to get some more gas first. So anyway, guys, we will see y'all in just a minute. Let's try that again. shuts your fire right back off. And then there's that. So there you have it, guys. The American Auto small block Chevy 350, 355. Let's see what our temp looks like. 107 on the front, 76 on the back. That plenum is at 69 degrees, guys. It's flowing some air through there. That's what the cylinder heads look like. 101, 92, 88, and 96. So in the midst of all this, there's a pulley on there that's trying to burn up on me. Not sure which one it is. I know it's not the water pump because the water pump is pumping properly. Radiator's getting good and warm. Hoses are getting good and warm. There's no thermostat inside this engine, guys. No oil leaks, but what I do have, which means I've got to add some more oil to it because I did notice it was a little low on the dipstick, but it's coming out of these holes here, so I've got to fix that too. But I think this engine is ready to be put inside the truck, which is not going to happen for a while. And the reason, God dog, that's loud. I really got to build a set of mufflers for doing this, but anyway. So yeah, that's where we're at. I've got to still build a set of mufflers for it, but as far as my actual run stand, I think it turned out quite well. We got to clean them headers up. I thought maybe I had already eaten the camshaft because this guy here never changed. It got a little darker, but it never turned blue like the rest of them for some reason. But when you hit it with the IR gun, it shows it was running just as warm as the other ones, 200 and 300 degrees. So that's that. The boat tank worked great, by the way. The boat tank worked awesome. And I took that out of the Mercury. So we will be putting that back in the Mercury because that's how that car runs right now. But anyhow, once we get the engine inside the truck, we're going to set timing a little bit better and we'll lock it down to where it's not so loud. But as of right now, I think we're in really, really good shape. We got to do an oil change on it. And then we'll hook up the advance on the timing. And I'll try and figure out some sort of a muffler system for doing this in the near future. But that's going to do it for this video, guys, on the small block Chevy build on that truck. And in the next one, we'll be disassembling the rest of the truck and getting ready for other parts. But in the meantime, this thing is built. It's done. It runs great. And so now we got to get a transmission and some other stuff. We got other body parts coming in and all this. So now we're starting to work on the body of the truck and the frame and all that stuff. But guys, when this engine gets put in that truck, it's going to be one hateful beast. I mean, you know, let me see. I don't have the cam card up here, or I would read it to you. But it's a 480 lift. It's the big mother thumper from Comp Cams, okay? So, yeah, it's a 480 lift on a 110 load separation. And she's hateful. She is hateful. Guys, keep in mind, y'all are watching that with that engine jumping like that. And I've got legs on this stand, and I've got it strapped. And it's still jumping like that. So, she's got some cojones to her. So, I don't know what the exact horsepower is. I might be able to take it to the engine dyno over in Jonesboro, but hadn't decided if I'm going to do that or not, so we'll just see what happens. But, yeah, so that's going to do it for this one, guys. We will bring y'all back next week as we start working on the rest of the truck. I hope you like this. Please comment, like, and subscribe. You guys seem to love the engine build. The engine is built. Now we got a whole lot of other work to do. And I will be sharing on other videos in the process. I'm not going to kill you guys on one video or on one vehicle this time. We will add another one in. We've got the Mercury to bring up and all that. Still got the square body Chevy. If somebody's interested in it, let me know. It's turnkey running too. It runs great. It don't stop that well, but I think it's because I need to put that master cylinder on it. But yeah, guys. All right, so final time, that's it. Make sure you go over and check out my buddies. Go check out Carter's Drag Racing. They actually surpassed us in 1 year. I've been at this for 4 years now, and as of today, we had 1,135 subscribers. Carter's Drag Racing been at it under a year, and they're already at like 1,500 or something. It's crazy. I'm so happy for them guys. I wish it was me, but I'm happy for them guys. Hopefully they'll let me know when the next race is coming up, because I'll go to Bristol and watch them and do some interviews with them for you guys so y'all can meet them. They do pro mod racing. He's got a Dodge Viper and called the Warbird, and then he's got the Barracuda called Blownfish. So, and both of those cars are blown. They're big tire cars. They are awesome. So go check them out. Really good Christian folks. Okay. And they're right down the road here. Matter of fact, I need to go talk to them because I got to go see about this motorcycle frame. But anyway, guys, check out Carter's Drag Racing. Check out topnotchtrees23. And I know y'all already check out Vice Grip, Pole Barn, and all them. Golden Rust or Bust. Go give that guy some love. He just come out with another video. Hopefully he's getting back on track. He's had a lot of misfortunate things going on and positive things going on. Apparently he's a daddy now, so congratulations to him. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Remember, if it doesn't challenge you, it don't change you. And thank you so much for watching. And I will see you guys on the next one.